I wouldn't be bothered about the numbers because numbers are bound to go up. The next 2 3 months are going to be very important for us, but we can't be totally dependent on the vaccine. Well, herd immunity does take time, and it you need to have at least 50 to 60% of the population who's infected. But I don't think we're at that stage right now in India. Maybe in a few cities, yes, we are almost reaching there. Like in Pune, they've seen the zero surveillance studies have shown a lot of positivity, or for that matter, Delhi has about 20 to 30% positivity. But overall, if you look at the entire country, we are far away from herd immunity. At least 60% of the population should be infected. So I think it's going to take a lot of time, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, who knows? Nobody knows how it's going to unfold. But as of now, we are far away from herd immunity. See, if we look at the absolute numbers, they are high, but then the rate of actually growth is less, and India is doing well on that front. Numbers were always going to be huge in India, but the best part, as you said, is the mortality rate is low, case fatality rate is low, and we are doing well in managing the spread of the disease. What we have to focus on is basically reduce the mortality. If we manage to do that, then that's what we really need to do because numbers, as it is, are expected to go up with the ramping up of the testing and more facilities being available. I wouldn't be bothered about the numbers because numbers are bound to go up. And if we manage to do more testing, if we manage to isolate more cases, do the tracing, then we'll be able to manage the spread of the disease. Tracing is a challenge, but it has to be managed. We have to keep our eyes open. We have to be vigilant. We have to increase the surveillance. If we have to, everybody who has flu-like illness should be tested compared to what we were doing a couple of months back. But now we are very aggressive with testing. And I would say beyond a point, we should not even ask for a prescription. It should be available on demand, the tests, and ramp up the testing further. As I said earlier, have these drive-ins where you can give the samples, do more home collection. The more and more you test, the more and more you isolate, you trace, you track, you treat patients, the more and more you'll be able to limit the spread of the disease. So that is the need of the hour. If you manage to do more testing, you manage to isolate more and more cases, then you are right there. So I wouldn't be bothered about the contact tracing much at this point. Whatever you can do has to be done. Whatever is not beyond your control, just let it be. But as long as you manage to test everybody who has flu-like symptoms, then you're almost there and will be able to help the spread of the disease, curb the spread. But having said that, the next 2 3 months are going to be very important for us because the way the graph is going, it's somewhat settling. We've had 50,000, 60,000 now for the last few days. But in spite of the testing being increased to 1 million a day, but we still have 60,000, which is a good sign. So next 2 3 months, we should be very vigilant. We should keep doing what we are doing. And apart from that, apart from the testing, we anyway are increasing the number of beds, the private hospitals, the government hospitals. We have more drugs available with us. We are more wiser in the disease now. It's the fifth month. We have the steroids, we have the antivirals, the tocilizumab, the plasma. So all that is going to help us. Yes, tracing is very important, but apart from that, there are so many other factors. Whatever you can't do is a challenge, is something which you have to live with. But apart from that, whatever you can do should be done. And I'm sure we'll be able to manage it. The government is doing a good job as of now. Well, let's be hopeful. As of now, there are about 6 vaccine candidates which are in the phase 3 human trials. 3 vaccines are from China, and there are 2 vaccines, the Moderna and the Pfizer, one from America. And then there's the Oxford vaccine, which seems to be very promising. So the phase 3 trials are going on. So hopefully, I'm quite hopeful in the first quarter of the next year, we'll have some vaccine in place, though the phase 3 trials will tell us more about it. But we can't be totally dependent on the vaccine. We can bank on it, but yes, let's see. There are so many viruses for which you don't have a vaccine. But yes, because this is a pandemic and so many researchers, scientists, doctors are working on it. So hopefully, early next year we'll have a vaccine. See, vaccine development is a very complex process. You have the preclinical trials, you have the clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Then you have the regulatory review, the approval, the manufacturing, the quality control. So normally it takes 10 years at least for a vaccine to develop. But over here, we're just talking about a year and a half. So yes, I'm quite hopeful. Even the Indian companies, two Indian companies are working on it. Phase 1, phase 2 trials are going on. The Zydus Cadila, Bharat Biotech. So hopefully, I think next Jan onwards, we should have a vaccine. See, testing is very, very important. As we have seen all over the globe, in Europe, America, wherever testing has been increased, ramped up, they've been able to curb the spread of the disease. And that's what is happening in India also. Even in Delhi, that has been something which has really helped us to curb the disease spread. Well, rapid antigen tests and PCR tests, a lot has been spoken about them, but both have their own utility. Yes, the gold standard is the PCR testing, but apart from that, the rapid antigen test has its own utility, I would say. In fact, in Delhi, it has really helped us because more than 50% of the case tests which are being done are the rapid antigen tests. Now, see, the problem with rapid antigen tests is that the sensitivity is about 50% compared to 70% for the PCR test. But if you do it judiciously, if you do it in large gatherings, if you do it in healthcare settings, you do it in containment zones, then it really helps. It has its advantages. It is a cheap test. The reports are available within 30 minutes. You don't need some big infrastructure for that. And you can pick up cases fast. In fact, patients or cases who have high viral load or are symptomatic early phase of the disease can be really picked up. But yes, you can sometimes miss out on some positives, the ones which actually have a low viral load or late in the disease. But then it always has to be backed up by the PCR testing. If you back it up with the PCR testing, then it is a useful tool, I would say. Because in a country like India, we can't just bank on the RT-PCR test. We should have something else also in hand. So together, and we can be able to do justice to it. So I think it has its own utility and can be used, especially if the numbers are high. And if doing RT-PCR test is a challenge, then it can serve its utility. The same precautions one has to take. Any gathering, whether it's a political gathering or whatever, can be catastrophic. I mean, too many people gathering together, not taking precautions, not wearing masks in close proximity can lead to spread of the disease, and they all can be super spreaders. So what I can say is that whatever, even if the election is being held, so they have to take proper precautions. All of them have to make sure that they wear masks. They have to maintain distance, whatever they can. I know it's a challenge, but whatever they can, they have to do it. Keep washing their hands and limit the number of people in gatherings. I don't know how much they can do, but this is what you have to do if you need to have such gatherings. But life has to move on. Things have to go on. So we have to manage with whatever we have.